sesión de información, reunión para los padres, para información de este año escolar que venga. El señor que está hablando es el director, señor de Ambrosio. Soy uno de los subdirectores de la escuela también. Go ahead, Mr. D.
So we are here to discuss the plans for the opening of the school year. So school starts on September 8th for students. Our staff has been working since last Wednesday, August 19th, getting things prepared to begin the school year. And of course, we are beginning the school year virtually. So we're going to be having school basically over the computer for the time being. This is our agenda for the evening. I'm going to share some good things and school achievements, and then we will get into our kind of our core content, which is sharing our plans with you for the school year.
Okay, so aquí es todas las cosas que vamos a hablar en esta noche. Estamos aquí porque ya sabemos que vamos a empezar este año escolar virtual o con todas las clases en la computadora. So estamos aquí, vamos a hablar, vamos a empezar con cosas buenas y también vamos a hablar de todas esas cosas en esta página.
So this is our mission statement. Anytime we start a meeting, we want to stay grounded in our purpose as a school and as an institution. And our purpose is very simple. It is to prepare our students, prepare all of our scholars for success beyond high school. And what we define as success is giving our students the skills and the competencies they need to choose their pathway, whether it's to a college, whether it's directly into the workforce, into a career. We want our students to feel confident and comfortable with that choice and be ready for success.
Mr. D, can you go back to the previous slide really quick? I just realized I didn't go through what the agenda was with the families. So just the last slide. Okay, and then I'll jump, and then I'll do a mission statement as well. So aquí en esta página tenemos que vamos a hablar como cosas buenas, propósito, que por qué estamos aquí, horarios, cómo encontrar la clase de Google Classroom en Zoom, necesidades que tienen con tecnología, oraciones y preguntas. Esas son todas las cosas que vamos a hablar esta noche. En ACE, you can go to the next slide, Mr. D. En ACE, aquí, la misión de la escuela es para ayudar a los niños éxito cuando salgan de la escuela secundaria, que están listos para la universidad y también para trabajar. Eso es porque estamos aquí para ayudar con los niños, los estudiantes que están listos y comunidad para la universidad, trabajar profesional y con las habilidades, ayuda a ellos con las habilidades y los valores para preparar en el futuro.
And the way we do that, our values, the core things that we believe in are a safe and supportive environment. We believe in student-centered practices, so giving our students voice and choice in their experience. We're committed to professional learning, so our staff has been in professional learning for a week now, and we believe in engaging with families like this here, and then also more intimate conversations. So these are the four things that really drive our work and lead us to our mission.
Eso para aquí son los 4 áreas que la escuela trabaja mucho para un entorno, para aprender que es seguro y con apoyo por los estudiantes. Practicamos centradas en el estudiante. Todo el foco es para los estudiantes para aprender. Y entrenamos los maestros más con entrenar de profesional y también participación para participar en la comunidad y con familias como estamos haciendo aquí.
And these are just, we talked about this in the beginning. If you could just keep yourself on mute. This is a large group. Mr. Espinoza and I will be doing the presenting. There will be time at the end for us to capture some questions that you have, and we can follow up with you directly. Well, this is really just an information session, an overview of the year, And we will have some follow-up orientations scheduled for next week, which we'll talk about as well. So just the norm about remaining on mute, Mr. Espinoza.
Esas son como las reglas que vamos a practicar por esa reunión y también con las clases por los niños, porque el video que si quieres tener su video, está bien, no necesitas tenerlo si no lo quieres. También, si tienes el video que sabes que estás en el lado de usted o atrás de usted, no queremos mirar algo mal. También que el señor D'Ambrosio va a estar hablando y y también está silencio cuando estamos hablando. Y si quieres y si tienes una pregunta, puedes usar la función para charlar, para escribir unas preguntas en la área de charlar allá abajo.
So I just want to share some good things. This is how we start all meetings and all classes at ACE. For the second year in a row, ACE achieved its mission and its obligation, its purpose of meeting expectation when it comes to the Maryland State Department of Education's criteria that they set for us. So that's a huge success for us, that we were successful in meeting all of those indicators. In addition to that, since school closed, we were just really able to come together as a community to continue with grocery deliveries, to continue with health and wellness check-ins with families. And, you know, despite what happened in the spring and what we're going through now, we still had a record number of students graduating in June, and that is our purpose.
So eso, páginas para hablar de las cosas buenas. Es un otro año de progreso. El año pasado fue bien con los académicos y el Departamento de Educación del Estado de Maryland estaban muy felices con nosotros, con la escuela y con todo el trabajo que estamos haciendo con los niños y todo el suceso que los niños tenían en las clases también. Y en la primavera, en el verano, estamos ayudando a las familias con alimentos, comida que necesitan, así, chequeando con las familias y los alumnos cómo están haciendo con todo lo que está pasando. Y también la cosa más importante que teníamos muchos niños que graduaron esta primavera, como 80 niños. Eso es muy bueno.
So our purpose for today, as I said, is to provide you with information about the upcoming school year, and then to give you a chance to ask some questions, which we will follow up with you most likely after this meeting because of time. But we really want to give you a high level or a basic overview of what to expect, and then really promote our orientations, which are taking place next week, which will be smaller groups by grade level, where you'll get a little bit more and a little bit deeper information into the school day.
Un momento. Ok. Estamos aquí para continuar una comunidad para emprender virtual que está seguro y solidaria con los alumnos, darles información sobre este año escolar y también para recibir comentarios y preguntas que tienen sobre los planes preliminares que tenemos.
I just want to share what our priorities are as a school, as a staff, when we come together and we identify what our focus areas are. And the first is to be culturally responsive, to strive to be an anti-racist organization. We know that racism is very real and present, and we want to make sure we are on the right side of history and that we are being intentional in our actions and preparing our students for success in the real world. And ways that we are trying to do that, particularly this year and in this time, is attending to everyone's wellness, making sure that we find that balance between providing academic rigor, but also support, social and emotional support to our students as well. Our focus right now, getting ready for the school year, is also on staff development and giving our staff time and space and training to use the different technology tools to engage students and engage your students in the learning. And really, this is the first of several family training and supports. So we want to make sure that by September 8th, students are ready with the materials they need, the technology they need, but also the skills they need to be able to find out how to get to their class, to follow along with the lesson, to be able to bounce between maybe the Zoom lesson and then completing a graphic organizer on their computer at the same time. We want to continue to provide that training and support. And then we want to make sure that attendance continues to be a priority, even in the virtual setting. The expectation is that students will be in class every day and on time, and we want to support families and remove any barriers to what may be inhibiting that from happening. So these are our key priorities at this time going into this school year.
Ooh, that's a lot there, Mr. D.
Pare it down, it's okay.
Okay. Primero queremos decir que está muy importante nosotros en la escuela, es que en la escuela aceptamos cada cultura que hay. Queremos hacer antirracista, una escuela antirracista, y también encontrar un equilibrio para ayudar a los alumnos con la computadora y trabajando en una clase virtual. Vamos a dar los maestros desarrollo de los maestros, porque nosotros también necesitamos aprender clases virtual y entrenar y dar apoyo para los estudiantes y las familias, y compromiso de los estudiantes es muy importante. El señor Di Ambrosio estaba hablando que necesitamos trabajar para tener asistencia muy buena ese año escolar. Va a estar difícil, pero cuando trabajamos juntos y estamos compromiso con nosotros juntos, es posible que eso va a ser fácil. Y también vamos a tener otras oraciones, otras reuniones antes de septiembre 8 o el 8 de septiembre, porque todos nosotros necesitamos más información para estar preparados este año, cuando pensamos.
So now we're getting into what the day is going to be like for students or for ACE, the entire ACE community. So the requirement right now is that this is for middle school. There will be 70-minute classes. So for 70 minutes, students will be on the Zoom call or the Zoom lesson with their teacher, getting their, the whole lesson as you would in a classroom, just over the computer. So there may be some type of drill activity, some whole group lesson, and then maybe some small group work together, and then some independent time where students are completing work on their own, but the teacher will still be present to support. So expect to experience similar things that you would experience in the classroom, just over the computer. So it is going to look and feel different. So 70-minute classes for 4 days per week. That's Monday through Thursday. And one thing that's unique to ACE is that we have shorter classes on Friday so that our staff can come together in the afternoon for professional development and planning. Also, there will be time for intervention, enrichment, and or advisory each day. And advisory is where we do some social emotional learning, some college and career readiness activities, and we support students in developing plans and helping them set goals for themselves to meet success and really take ownership of the lesson. So, but really what I want you to understand is that the day is going to consist in the middle school of 4 classes, 70 minutes each. There will be a lunch, and I'm going to show you a visual in a minute. And that's Monday to Thursday with a little bit shorter classes on Friday.
Okay. Esta página aquí es como se ve un día para los niños en la escuela intermedia, en los grados de sexto a la 8. Y tenemos clases de 70 minutos cada clase, 4 clases cada día, lunes hasta jueves. Sí, clases de 50 minutos en viernes. Y tenemos intervención y también es una clase especial que se llama consultiva y esto es como hablan de diferentes temas en Costa Rica para ayudar a los alumnos. Pero otra vez, clases de 70 minutos, 4 clases cada día, lunes a jueves, y las clases en viernes son 50 minutos.
And this is an example of the high school schedule. So it is not exactly the same, but it is similar. Still 70-minute classes, 5 classes per day for high school students. And that will take place on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So 3 days a week will be 70 minutes, 5 classes. And then Friday will be the shorter day for students. So 50 minutes per class on Friday. Wednesday is something different and unique that we haven't done before. Wednesday is a day that's meant for intervention. So this is a chance for students to perhaps receive some instruction in math or reading for some skills that they may be lacking, or it may be time for us to do some lessons on study skills and organization. We're going to use this time for advisory and community meetings as well.
Mr. D, how is Wednesday a half day for students to confirm?
You'll see the times in a moment, but it's basically it's 3 one-hour blocks on Wednesday, and I'll show you that visual in a moment.
Okay, so esto es la día para la escuela secundaria, grados 9 a 12, escuela secundaria, y mismo es que son clases de 70 minutos cada clase, 5 clases cada día. 5 clases cada día. Lunes, martes y jueves, 5 clases, 70 minutos cada clase. 50 minutos en viernes. Eso es porque los maestros hacemos desarrollo con los maestros en viernes, con reuniones con los maestros en viernes. O esas clases son 50 minutos. Y miércoles es diferente. Miércoles va a ser 3 clases por 1 hora cada clase en miércoles. Eso es por intervención para otra vez ayudar a los alumnos en diferentes temas para estudiar o con trabajo en la computadora. Eso es un día muy diferente. 3 clases, 1 hora cada clase en miércoles.
So this, I'm sure, looks like a lot of information, and it is. What I really want you to focus on are the times of the day. And if you just look at one column, let's say 601, that's an example of a 6th grade class. And we're looking at the middle school schedule right now. So if your child, or if you are in class 601, you're going to follow this schedule. Between 9 and 10:10, that's 70 minutes, will be your English class or English language arts class. We're giving students 10 minutes break to get up, move around, use the restroom. We know that's a long time sitting in front of a computer. But then being back at the computer for their next class, which would be science, from 10:20 to 11:30. The same thing, break. Then they'll come for their special area. So that may be physical education or art or music and some others. And then everyone will have lunch from 12:50 to 1:35. That's a 45-minute lunch. And then again, back to the computer for math class. So from 1:35 to 2:45, again, a 70-minute class. And then at 2:45, well, after a little break at 2:55, this is where we have some time for middle school intervention, coach class, additional support, or the advisory. And I appreciate the question about expanding on the social and emotional piece. So advisory would be the space where we conduct most of those activities. And it looks different. It's not the same every time. Sometimes it may be just what we call a circle conversation, where the teacher is checking in with the students saying, you know, how are you feeling right now? What's going on? What supports do you need? And students get to share in those experiences. Anytime, you know, something comes up and we feel like one of our counselors or clinicians would be the right person to refer a student to, you know, we would connect with the family to make sure folks are all supportive and comfortable, and we would direct those students for more intimate or intentional counseling. Sometimes our social and emotional activities are games, team building games and activities, games, you know, music, dancing, all those things, while they look different over the computer, are still able to occur. So that's just a small example of some of the social emotional activities. So again, the way to interpret this slide is to just, you know, let's say you're a 7th grade student. If you're assigned a 701, you would follow the schedule where it would be science first, and then math, and then the special area class, lunch, English, and then the advisory at the end of the day. So really what I want you to really notice here is the 4 70-minute classes, those core area classes, with the breaks, with the lunch, and then some time in the afternoon for other more intentional things. We're going to show you all in a moment how to access your child's schedule through Infinite Campus. That is one of the tutorial videos we have. Mr. Espinoza, if you just want to just point out the times and, you know, how the classes flow, that would be great.
Aquí es el horario de escuela intermedia. So grados 6, 7 y 8. So los niños empiezan clases a las 9 en la mañana, a las 10 y 10. So va, como estás en la clase de 601, vas a empezar 9 de la mañana. Primero tienes lectura. Segundo tienes ciencia. A las 11:40, a las 12:50, puedes tener música, arte, ejercicios, algo así, gimnasio. A las 12:50, a las 1:30 o 1:35, tienen lonche, tiempo para comer. 1:35 a 2:45, vas a tener matemáticas. El último clase del día, 2:55 hasta 4:05, son las clases de intervención constructiva, es donde puedes recibir ayuda con tarea y trabajo en la clase, diferentes temas también. Otra vez, empezamos a 9 de la mañana, cada clase 70 minutos. Estás en la clase de 601 aquí, vas a tener lectura, ciencias, arte, música, gimnasio, ejercicios, algo así, en la 11:40, 12:50, lonche, matemáticas y intervención. Go ahead, Mr. D.
And what you're looking at here is the middle school Friday schedule. So the only difference here is the shorter class period. So you'll see first period is 9 to 9:50, and then a 10-minute break, 10 to 10:50. So it's the same schedule. Students would follow the same schedule, go to the same classes during the same periods, just 50-minute classes instead of 70.
So este es el horario de viernes y ese mismo orden de otros días, el lunes o jueves, mismo orden de las clases. So empiezas a 9, 9:50, tienes lectura, 10, 10:50, tienes ciencias y que sigue así. So cada clase es 50 minutos y es el mismo orden de los otros días. La cosa es que las clases son 50 minutos.
And here is the high school schedule. So the start and end time, appreciate the question, the start and end time is the same for middle and high school students. So it's a 9 a.m. to a 4:05 p.m. school day. So it is a long day, which is why we wanted to build in these breaks in between classes. So this, what you're looking at, is the high school schedule. Now, in high school, students don't travel with the same class all day like they do in middle school. So every student has their individual schedule. So you may have algebra first period and biology second, U.S. history, and then physical education fourth, and then maybe computer science fifth. So there's a variety of different classes students are taking, and they're not traveling with the same students every time. So that's why this schedule is looks a little bit more simpler, because it doesn't include all those homerooms that you saw earlier. But this is an example of the high school schedule for Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday only.
So eso es horario por la escuela secundaria, grados 9, 10, 11 y 12. Y aquí empezamos al mismo tiempo con la escuela intermedia y también cabemos al mismo tiempo. So, empezamos a las 9 de la mañana, cabemos aquí a las 4 de la tarde. A cada niño, ¿por qué esto se mira tan diferente de los otros niños en la escuela intermedia? Es porque cada niño en la escuela secundaria tiene un horario individual, individual, no sé qué está diciendo esa palabra correcto, pero cada niño tiene un horario solo por ese niño. Eso es porque está muy diferente. Cada niño tiene un horario solo de ello.
And then in high school for Friday, the same thing, shorter day, shorter classes. They're 50-minute classes with the same 10-minute break. And as you can see, the school day for students ends at 2:25.
Eso es el mismo horario como otra vez como los niños en la escuela intermedia. Cada clase es 50 minutos. Vas a ver aquí que mientras cada clase los niños tienen 10 minutos para un descanso o para descansar. O 10 minutos mientras cada clase. Pero cada clase 50 minutos empiezan a las 9 de la mañana hasta las 2:25 en la tarde.
And I hope that answers the question about Friday. This is the Wednesday schedule. So Wednesday is going to look different. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, students will be following their schedule, going to those classes at those times. Again, Friday, it's the same. You follow the same schedule. They're just shorter class periods. However, on Wednesday, and this is unique or not unique, this is common across the city at all high schools. This day has been designated for interventions. And interventions could mean a lot of different things for different students. So it could mean additional help with reading or math. It could mean additional support with science or social studies. Students will, again, have unique schedules that meet their needs. But there's basically going to be 3 blocks or 3 periods. The first one from 11 to 12, and then there will be a break from 12 to 12:45. The next from 12:45 to 1:45, and then the third from 1:45 to 2:45. We're going to use at least one of the reasons or one of the blocks we're going to use for our advisory. Our advisory is when students are in small groups. They do everything from goal setting. They will develop an individual plan. They will engage in some college and career readiness activities. It may be a virtual college fair or a college tour. It may be having guest speakers and learning about different opportunities beyond high school. And like I said earlier, it may be some team building for social emotional learning. It may be circle talks to kind of process what's going on in the community, in the nation, across the world with the pandemic, a variety of different things. And then the other blocks will be, like I said, unique to the students. We will most likely not get started with those academic focused interventions until October. We want to give students a month to get comfortable in this space, in this virtual space. We want to see what our students' strengths are and where there may be some weaknesses, and then create these smaller modified schedules based on those. We'd also like to give our students some choice on this day as well, and having students identify, well, I really need help with science, so I'm going to go to this science support lesson or science support classroom during this time period. So this is something that is very new. It's very new for us. We're continuing to plan through it and process it. But as of now, that's what our Wednesday is looking like for our students. So Mr. E, I know that was a lot. Just focus on that there's going to be these 3 really purposeful classes, and they'll look different for each student. And we'll continue to communicate as the plan comes together.
It's okay, Mr. D. I was taking notes. Estoy sacando notas para que estoy listo. miércoles es un día muy diferente. Empezamos más tarde. Se mires aquí, el primero clase empieza a las 11 en la día, 11 de la mañana, 11 a las 12. Cada clase es por una hora. So empezamos a las 11 a las 12. Tienen lonche a las 12, a las 12:45. Y que sigue son los otros dos clases, 2:45, 1:45, 1:45, 2:45, cada clase una hora. Este día es muy importante porque es cuando vamos a tener las intervenciones por los niños. Queremos que tenemos otra vez cuando los niños pueden tener las intervenciones consultivas. Cuando están en la consultiva son grupos muy pequeños y vamos a dar a los niños poco lecciones para ver qué quieren hacer, cuáles temas necesitan ayuda. También es posible que vamos a tener excursiones virtual. En la computadora vamos a usar el internet para varias diferentes áreas para una excursión. Pero miércoles va a ser muy diferente. Cada clase es una hora para las intervenciones y grupos más pequeños por los alumnos.
All right. I don't mind going back. I won't spend too much time here, but I saw some requests for a Friday snapshot again. Real quick, 50-minute classes instead of 70. The same start time at 9 a.m. But the school day does end at 2:25 on Friday. So one more glance there at the Friday schedule. I see some questions asking about classes and schedules. We're actually going to show you with the video tutorial how to go to Infinite Campus and how to access your schedule. All of our schedules, if you're familiar with Infinite Campus and you have accessed it in the past, your schedule should be complete and updated. I believe we're at 100% scheduled right now. Thanks to the great work of our guidance counselor putting that together and putting the time together. So again, you can check your Infinite Campus. We'll show you how to do that as well. When it comes to attendance, so the expectation, the district policy is that students are present every day for class, just like we would be in the building. So present in this case means being logged into the computer and being on the Zoom call, as you all are now, at the appropriate times. Teachers will be taking attendance daily, and attendance will very much count and matter. So we know that that is different than the spring experience, where we were doing a lot of work outside of class time, and then teachers had some check-in times. This will be just following that regular schedule, or not the regular schedule, the schedule that was just shared every day. When it comes to grading, the grading policy also is, we'll say, I'm not going to say back to normal, but back to what it was prior to virtual learning in the spring. So for Baltimore City Schools, 70% of a student's grade is based on assessments. And assessment doesn't just mean your typical test. It could be a drill activity. It could be a class assignment that teacher is grading for accuracy. So 70% of the student's grade are based on those assessments, and then 30% of the student's grade based on engagement. So everything from attendance to participation in class. Go ahead, Mr. Reed, just those kind of big points there around attendance and grading.
Ok, en esta página vamos a checar la asistencia cada día por cada clase. Es la responsabilidad que los alumnos están en clase cada día. Vamos a checar la asistencia. Los maestros van a chequear por los niños en las clases virtual para poner la asistencia cada día. Para calificaciones, van a estar el mismo que antes en la primavera año pasado, el mismo como el año pasado, donde el 70% del grado o la calificación fue en las evaluaciones o exámenes de los niños y 30% en los grados de los niños son para el trabajo de los niños, como el trabajo que ellos hacen en la clase. Otra vez, las calificaciones por los niños y los grados es el mismo año pasado, donde 70% es de las evaluaciones o exámenes de los niños, 30% es por los cómo están trabajando los niños entre la clase.
So there are some things to be familiar with, and we're going to show you a video demonstration in a moment. The teacher's Google Classroom. This is something that, again, we'll give you a brief demonstration on how to access that. But being comfortable navigating that, knowing where to go, that is where your teacher is going to have all the assignments posted. That is where you as a student will upload your assignments for grading. It is essentially the hub for everything that's taken place within the class. Infinite Campus, as we've talked about. So Infinite Campus is the program. It's a student management system. It's a program that's used where students can check their grades and parents can check grades. And then also you can check your schedule. And then, of course, Zoom. Zoom is going to be how all lessons are delivered. So just like you are on the Zoom call now, you would be in front of your teacher, with your classmates as the audience, learning with the different tools that our teachers are putting together at this time. So I had asked, this was an experiment. I'm really excited to share it. We have an outstanding rising senior. Her name is Shannon Coles. That put together this video with a little bit of assistance from one of our teachers, Ms. Greco, and one of our newer teachers, Mr. Woodhouse. So this is a student really just showing the basics, logging into the Chromebook, going to Google Classroom, and then going to Infinite Campus to look at the schedule, and then how to go to a Zoom class. So I'm going to stop one screen. I'm going to switch screens, and then I'm going to share this video.
Wait, Mr. D, can I go first?
I'm sorry, yes. My last point though, sorry, Mr. D, is just remind folks that this is being recorded, so this will be available for you to view later as well.
Ok, so cosas para estar familiar, cosas para saber es cómo usar y tener acceso a Google Classroom y el sistema de Infinite Campus. Eso es el sistema que nosotros usamos en la escuela por los niños para saber la asistencia, calificaciones, todos, dirección, números, todo eso en Infinite Campus. Y también que están familiares con Zoom. Eso es que estamos aquí, llamadas de video en Zoom. Es importante que estás familiares con esas áreas. Y también vamos a tener un tutorial de un estudiante que se llama Shannon. Un estudiante que se llama Shannon va a dar a ustedes un tutorial de video aquí para aprender cómo acceder el Google Classroom, Zoom y también el sistema de Infinite Campus. Y estamos grabando este video, so puedes venir otro tiempo para checarlo también.
I also want to pause for a moment. And this is, I think, a good problem, a good challenge to have. Apparently, we've hit a participant limit. So I'm going to ask staff, any staff on the call, as much as I love you all, if you could hop off the call so that we can admit some other parents in, that would be great. So staff, thanks for being with us this evening. But please go ahead and sign out so we can get some more of our parents and our students to join in. So I am going to stop sharing and then go through that video. I do see a question about how will we know who is present. So students, they will be using their Baltimore City username and password to access the Zoom lessons. All students will have an account. And when they do that, the teacher will know that they're present. So it's a fairly simple record-keeping tool. So it is really important, however, that students know their username and their password, and we will be here to help with that. I want to again shout out Shannon with the support of some outstanding ACE teachers to get this put together in a short period of time. We will have other video tutorials to share, but we thought it'd be nice for students to see this from an actual student perspective. It looks like Shannon's going in the meeting right now. Welcome, Shannon. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Reed.
No, I just think aquí está un tutorial para acceder cómo usar el Infinite Campus y Google Classroom.
In order to sign into your Chromebook, you will need your student ID number and account password. You will enter your student ID as your username in the following format: student ID @ bcpss.org, followed by your account password. Once you are done typing your password, click Sign In. After a short time, your account will log in and the Chrome browser should open. To access Google Classroom, on the bottom, you'll see 3 icons. The green chalkboard icon is used to get to your Google Classroom, where you will have access to all of your online classes. Now, let's access Zoom by opening a new tab done by clicking the plus symbol on the top of your screen.
I just want to pause and share that when Google Classrooms are fully set up, there will be a space in Google Classroom to access the Zoom link to the teacher's class. But what you're about to see is how to access Zoom from the web browser.
In the search bar, start to type the word Zoom. In your choices, you should see Zoom Meeting as one of them. Hover your mouse over that option and then click it or hit Enter. From here, you should see the Zoom link right in front of you, ready to click. Go ahead and click on that link to go to the Zoom web page. On the top right, look for the words Join a Meeting and click that link. This should lead you to a page where you can input your meeting ID.
All right. Now you're going to hear directly from Shannon. I believe first it's going to be about how to access your schedule in Infinite Campus.
I'm going to Chrome. In the search bar, type in Infinite Campus, and it should come up right here. Look just like that. Click on it. You should see login. Click that. Down below, you will see district name and state. For district name, you put BCPS, and for state, Maryland, of course. Hit search. It should say parent/student or staff. Choose parent/student. You click campus student. For this one right here is you gotta click employee/student sign in. And I'm already logged in, but for the login, you put your student ID number at bcpss.org, and then it should be ACE capitalized student lowercase 20. And then you go here to schedule. You'll see your schedule right here. All right, I'm gonna be going to Chrome. Search bar, put in Google Classroom. You should see.
So what you're looking at now is just a different way to access Google Classroom. The first way was on that icon, but this would be another way. So if you're not on one of the Baltimore City devices, which is what Shannon is working on, you can still access Google Classroom from a personal device. You would go to the web browser, and I will let her continue.
Google Classroom, click that. I'm already signed in to it, which you should be too. And then you'll see this class. Well, this is my class, but see this.
So right there, when students first log on, even prior to September 8th, let's see, for high schoolers, your 5 classes will be showing on this screen. And you'll see that join button. You click join, and then you're automatically joined into that class. You don't have to go searching for Google Classroom codes or anything like that. Just go to that Google Classroom icon, or go to Google Classroom, log in, and then make sure you join all 5 or 4 in middle school of your classes.
Mr. D, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Mr. D.
No problem. En ese tutorial están enseñando ustedes diferentes modos para tener acceso a Infinite Campus y también de Google Classroom y Zoom. Ahora mismo estamos aquí mirando el Google Classroom y donde dice Join, donde estaba azul allí, es donde para unir con el clase. So, cuando estás en la escuela secundaria, sus clases van a estar aquí en Google Classroom.
Join it. I'm in the class, and then you'll go to classwork at the top. Click classwork, then you'll see your Zoom link. Click that. You go down. This is the meeting ID, the passcode. You click the link, and it'll take you right to it.
Mr. D, can I say something?
Yep.
Aquí que estás mirando es que también cuando estás entrado en el Google Classroom y estás en la clase, puedes encontrar un modo para usar Zoom. So, también puedes ir a la página de web de Zoom y también en el Google Classroom, cuando estás en la clase, la maestra va a poner un modo para encontrar Zoom en la clase, para usar Zoom.
And then the host, well, your teacher should be connecting you to it or adding you to it. And then you'll see this. Yes. Hey. It worked.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
All right, big round of applause to Shannon for putting all that together for us. Outstanding, especially in such a short period of time. So we hope that was helpful. We're going to continue to develop more tools like that to try and be as supportive as possible in helping folks get logged on, signed on, in the right spaces, all the things that are going to be required for students to be successful. So those are the main tools, I would say, that students are going to have to be familiar with and comfortable with. And I just want to pause and say, I know this is a lot. This is all very different. Probably have a lot of questions about, again, wanting to see those things again or more tutorials. We're going to provide all that, myself included, the entire teaching team and staff at ACE. We're all here to support students, families, to make sure that those challenges that we're talking about, these challenges, that we overcome them. So we don't expect anyone to be perfect on September 8th. We know we're going to have challenges that day, and I'm sure the first several weeks, but we're all here to support each other, and we're going to make sure that we're moving at a comfortable pace and that we are just really preparing and laying a strong foundation for the rest of the year or the rest of the time in this environment. So just a few words about support would be great, Mr. E.
Mr. D, this video is located where for future reference?
We're going to add it to our YouTube channel, which is ACE Eagles. We'll make sure it's also present on our website, which is ace427.org. If Ms. Baldwin, if you could drop our website in the chat, that would be great.
Okay, so este tutorial para tener acceso a la Google Classroom, Zoom y Infinite Campus, el tutorial que estamos viendo aquí va a estar en nuestra página de web, ACE427. Vamos a poner la dirección para la página de web en el chat. Ahí está, ace427.org. Y fue muy excelente ese tutorial. So, gracias a la estudiante que lo echó. Go ahead, Mr. D.
So I see some questions about, will the school be providing a laptop? The answer is yes. We are receiving laptops. We just received a shipment today from our central office to be distributed. But we need some information from parents. So we just did a call campaign today where our staff started making phone calls. If you already filled out a technology survey, you don't need to do it again because we did some of that over the summer. But we are trying to still get information from some families about what the needs are so that we can enter that data and we can get additional devices from our central office. But the goal is that every student that needs a device will get one provided by Baltimore City Schools so that you don't miss any instruction and so you have access. If you could just summarize that technology statement, Mr. E, and then I'll talk about other materials.
So, está muy importante porque necesitamos una cuenta de la tecnología que tienen en su casa. Maestros estaba llamando la casa hoy y vamos a seguir llamando la casa para ver qué tecnología tienen en su casa. Si tienen un Chromebook, una computadora o qué están usando para tener acceso a todas esas cosas como sus clases. So, está muy importante. No tenemos una encuesta de tecnología que ya no lo asistes, por favor llama a la escuela también. Are you going to talk about material pickup right now?
Yeah, so right now what you're looking at is we have some dates scheduled for next week where we hope to have the materials from the district that we need to distribute to students. Those will be things like a laptop, if it's been identified, a novel for English class, a math workbook. So ideally, we would get all those things in the next few days, and we'll have them ready for September 1st. We will follow up with exact times once we see what materials we have to distribute. So I know this is all coming up very quick, and this is all like, you know, that's Tuesday, September 1st. So we will continue to communicate as quickly and efficiently as possible. But the goal is that you only have to come to the school one time. And of course, we're going to do that with safety measures in place. So everyone must wear a face covering. There will be a health screening, so a questionnaire or questions that you will be asked prior to entering the building. We will maintain 6 feet social distancing. But the goal is that you only have to come up one time for everyone's safety. And in that one time, you would get a laptop, the materials you need for your classes, and any curriculum materials that are provided. So these are the tentative dates. Once we get a better sense of the materials we have, we will give out those times and we'll stagger the times so it's not everybody coming at once, which would create an unsafe environment. But we will have time before September 8th for students to come and pick up the materials that they need. If you need a laptop, and I'll put this in the chat, if you need a laptop or a Wi-Fi hotspot, or I should say, and or a Wi-Fi hotspot, I'm going to put my direct number in this chat. Please text me with your name if you're a student, or your child's name if you're a parent, and what you need. If you need a laptop and a hotspot for Wi-Fi, or just one or the other. So I'm going to drop that in the chat in a moment. But yeah, Mr. E, if you want to summarize that about materials, that'd be great.
Ok, la próxima semana tenemos estas fechas aquí, el 1 de septiembre para los grados de 6 a 8, para la escuela intermedia, el 1 de septiembre, 2 de septiembre, grado 9, 3 de septiembre, grado 10, septiembre 4 o 4 de septiembre, grados 11 y 12. Esos son los días, las fechas que puedes venir para su computadora y diferentes materiales para recogerlos. También vamos a tener, por favor, que tienen su máscara para su cara y una bolsa para recoger sus materiales y otros útiles que tenemos por su estudiante. También el director de Ambrosio va a poner un número celular el número celular de él. Se necesita un punto de acceso de Wi-Fi, un hotspot, un punto de acceso de Wi-Fi. Puedes llamar o mandar un mensaje a él. Se necesita eso. Pero esas son las fechas. No tenemos tiempo o qué horas que vamos a tener gente en la escuela, porque estamos trabajando a ver cuáles materiales vamos a tener por los estudiantes. Pero esos son los días y cuando tenemos el tiempo y las horas que vamos a estar en la escuela, que ustedes pueden recogerlos o recibir los computadoras y materiales, vamos a mandar información a ustedes.
All right, so here is another set of important dates and times that you will need to know. And this, along with the link for orientations, are on our website. Again, that's ACE427.org, ACE with 2 C's. So we're gonna have orientations next week. It will be similar to this, but it will be specific to your grade level. So middle schoolers will all be in one session on September 1st at 5 o'clock. We'll do some additional technology training. You'll get to meet the teachers. By then, we should be able to share your homeroom, your group, and answer additional questions that you have. So middle school is September 1st. If I could have a staff person, Ms. Horner, Ms. Baldwin, drop this in the chat, because I'm sorry I didn't put it on the slide. Middle school, September 1st at 5. 9th grade, September 2nd at 5. And then 10th through 12th together, but we'll do some breakouts, September 3rd at 5 o'clock. So please, please, please make arrangements to join us again through Zoom for additional information and a little bit more clarity as we get closer and closer to September 8th. If you miss, well, if anyone missed today, if you miss orientation next week, if you miss the material pickup, we are going to do everything we can to bring you up to speed. So we can, if necessary, we don't like to do too many of these because of safety reasons, but if a home delivery is absolutely necessary, we will do that. If just phone call, FaceTime to do additional technology training is needed, we'll do that as well. We're going to do everything we can to be supportive. I will be saving the chat as a file so that I'm not missing any of these requests and needs. Something I said, I'm sorry, let me pause there. Mr. E, if you want to just touch on the orientations, that would be great.
Thank you. So, la próxima semana tenemos las orientaciones en el 1 de septiembre, 2 de septiembre, 3 de septiembre. Cada día son de diferentes grados. So, 1 de septiembre, esa orientación son por grados 6, 7, 8. Esos grados son el 1 de septiembre, la próxima martes. El 2 de septiembre es por grado 9, solo grado 9, el 2 de septiembre. Y el 3 de septiembre, tenemos grados 10, 11 y 12. Cada orientación va a estar a las 5 de la tarde. Esas orientaciones son virtual. También son virtual. Esas orientaciones. Y también vamos a tener unos horarios para materiales para recogerlos. Y si necesitas que alguien entrenar, usted o su alumno en la tecnología, puedes llamar a nosotros para tener un horario y una cita para recibir que alguien entrenar cómo usar su tecnología. Y también vamos a tener más, vamos a entrenar ustedes más cada mes y con más apoyos que podemos hacer. Y también el director va a dar charlar, la función de charlar. Si tienes preguntas, puedes ponerlo allí. Vamos a abordarlo y chequear cuáles preguntas tenemos. Y es todo.
We are coming towards an end. We're going to save this for future orientations because I know we've been together a long time, but we want to make sure that we are demonstrating what it means to be ACE in the virtual setting. We'll go over this at a future meeting. Really what I want to close with is, I don't know if I addressed this, what I saw in the chat about uniforms. Uniforms are not required at all. Cameras are not required to be on. We want students to be comfortable and we want students to be engaged, and we want to just eliminate any barriers that may exist. So be present, be engaged. That's all that we ask. Mr. E, if you want to translate that, and then I'll go to the last thing here.
Yep. Alguien tenía una pregunta preguntando que si los niños necesitan uniformes cuando estamos en las clases virtual. No, los niños no necesitan uniformes cuando tenemos las clases virtual. Queremos que los niños son cómodos y que están comprometidos, que están aquí en las clases virtual aprendiendo. Pero no necesitan uniformes. Queremos que los niños estén cómodos y listos para aprender. So, otra vez, cómodo y listo para aprender en las clases virtual.
All right, so if you have the QR reader on your phone or and you'd like to access this Padlet that way, please do so. I will also put this in the chat, this link. So Padlet is a tool that we've been using as a staff. It's a way to communicate in writing with one another in real time. So I'm going to put this link in the chat, and would love to hear feedback that you have from this meeting. So if you want to provide a comment to say, you know, this was helpful, or if you want to provide a comment to say, you know what, this could have been better if you guys did this, like, be honest, would love the feedback. And then also if you have additional questions, I want you to use this Padlet as well. So I'm going to there. Give me one moment.
Hello?
If you could stay on mute for another moment. If you want to stay on for questions, you can drop a question in the chat. I will be able to hang out a little bit longer after we close.
El señor D'Ambrosio, el director, está poniendo un web link aquí en la función de charla, y puedes usar ese web link para para decir a nosotros cómo fue y que tienes preguntas para la escuela.
All right. So this is a tool that we've been using as a staff that your teachers may be using with students. It's called Padlet. It allows you to create dialogue and respond to each other's comments or questions. So if you're viewing my screen, the way to post something, if you go to this link, is to click on the plus sign that you see in the bottom right-hand corner, and then I can type in here, you know, a question or a comment. So will students have to wear a uniform? I've heard that a lot. and that is posted. And then I can, there's different features where you can go in and reply and so on and so on. So we are coming to the end. If you would like to play around with the Padlet and drop a comment or a question, you're welcome to do so. We'll hold on to that. We'll follow up. If you're more comfortable communicating in the chat, feel free to do so as well. I would say the best way to stay updated would be filling out, if you haven't, the sign-in form, because we're asking for your email address, and Ms. Baldwin sends out all of our email communications.
Where's the sign-in form?
Here's the sign-in form again in the chat.
Form.gle.
So that you can stay informed through email. We do robocalls, so making sure your phone number and Infinite Campus is updated is always helpful. And we communicate a lot through our advisory as well, like we talked about earlier. So hearing from the teacher or a staff person.
Mr. D, if I can say, so aquí en las funciones de charla, la señora Bowen ponió la forma de registrarse para poner su nombre y correo electrónico. Aquí está la charla y también aquí en la web link o la enlace de web puedes poner sus preguntas y aquí y vamos a checarlos después de esta reunión. Y cuando necesitas más información, puedes checar la página de web de la escuela en la ACE427.org, ACCE427.org es la página de web de la escuela.
Right. We've gone over an hour. I hope this was helpful. We will come back together next week in those orientation times, days and times. So please continue to check our website, continue to check our social media, continue to respond to the calls. You will be getting calls from different staff members. We want to over communicate. That's always seems best. And I look forward to seeing everybody next week at the orientation. Of course, you only have to go to one. You go to the one that is your grade level that you're assigned to. If you have multiple children across grade levels, then you will come to multiple. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you to Mr. Espinoza. Thank you to Ms. Horn and Ms. Baldwin for communicating in the chat. Really appreciate that. But that is it for tonight. So thank you all. Enjoy your evening. Have a great rest of the week.
Gracias a todos para venir y buenas noches. Mr. D, you're going to stick around a little bit just in case there's questions.
Yeah, I'm going to stop recording first.
Vamos a quedar aquí por poco tiempo.